Welcome to the Ray Bros Nerd Show, episode 3. I'm your host, Jonathan, with my brother, Zach.
What's up, guys?
And today is going to be very Mafia 3 heavy podcast. And at the end, we're going to get into some like horror movies and stuff like that. But first things first, my brother got Mafia 3 for me for my birthday. And I just want to hear his thoughts on it first because there's something that happened to me during the game that's very nitpicky, but like almost like irritating me so bad. So Zach,
I mean, this thing has been driving you nuts, and I want to hear this and see how I feel about it. Like, because we can always, talk about how we feel about it, but I have to hear this because you brought it up, days ago. So,
well, okay. So some of this is spoiler alert. So I'm not going to get too much into the story, but okay, here's the one thing that annoys me the most about the game, and I'm not even going to talk about the screen tearing or anything like that. I'm actually going to talk about, I was doing a mission. It was probably the third mission in, and I dropped my car off like across the street and parked it like you should, and did the mission, came back, car was gone. And I was literally trying to do the whole game just using one car the whole time. Like, I don't know why it annoyed me so bad. Like, cause like I parked the car and I was using the same like this just beat up car like you kind of first start with, and it wouldn't let me like keep it during like post mission. Like it would, like I parked it, I even went back and I was showing my girl, like I'm like, look, this is where I parked the car, this is not and it wasn't like it was stolen because I haven't seen anybody like steal a car yet or anything like that.
See, that's the reason I was going to ask, because there's one mission in particular that I know of where a NPC, non-player character, like one of the other characters in the game, literally steals your car.
No.
Like, do you remember what the mission you did in the mission?
The mission was I was talking to one of the characters that he was going to do the selling of weed, like you have to do it by the boats and stuff like that. And so basically like he was the drug trafficker, and all I did was park my car across the street. And then once I was done with that, and the video played, then it was over. Like I thought it would be.
Okay, because I don't know if you've done all the work you need to do for Vito yet, at least to start out with.
I don't think so. I can't remember.
Did you get in a? I don't want to say. Well, the reason I was wondering is because there's literally a mission where your car gets stolen and your character points out like, "What the fuck? He stole my car, that little rat." Like,
no, it wasn't even that. Like, it was just like the video basically said how I'm like, he doesn't trust me, but I'm going to start working with him to get drugs trafficked in and everything like that to get my cut or whatever. And then the cut scene was done. I went to go swim back across the lake because you can swim to get to the car. It was like a small lake. It was like where the...
Oh yeah, I remember. It's when you're like going to meet Emmanuel for the first time.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to go like get a boat and drive, or well, when you would you say you boat?
Yeah, dude.
You
well, you
boat
still
to
drive a
this
boat because I
location?
think you have to have a license to drive a boat. I think. Do
Yeah.
you?
Well,
Boating license?
see, and sometimes like I don't know. Sometimes that system works where it like saves your car, and other times I've had it to where my car just vanishes. But like, usually I try like, because you're always like, it's the 60s, so you don't technically have GPS, but it like has a GPS route for you.
Well, it pops up these arrows.
Yeah,
in the
and
road.
so the last place it wants you to stop is usually a green arrow.
Yeah.
As opposed to the normal white one. So normally I try to park at that, and usually I don't have a problem. Because right now I have this like badass like Mustang wannabe that I've been driving. Though now that I've turned it off for the day, that car will probably be gone. But fortunately I can get it delivered to me. But anyway, so we should probably set up what Mafia 3 is.
Yeah.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, like, it is, an open world action game, like Grand Theft Auto. You play as a black Vietnam veteran who basically, like, is involved in the black mob and like a facsimile for New Orleans called New Bordeaux in the 1960s. And he basically comes home. He's doing some work with the Italian, mafia, and they basically screw him over. So, and kill the rest of the black mob that you work for.
Yeah.
And so the whole game is really just a big revenge tale. But here's where I want to start talking about this game is the presentation for this game is something I've never seen before in a video game. And, sometimes people can do things new and do it terribly, but they do it so effective that I wish I saw this in video games more. And the basic way they do it is they structure it like it's a documentary.
Yeah, that's cool because like during the game, like usually when you're playing, I failed the mission that we're playing. During the game, typically the story just like goes straight forward. This is like in like a documentary you would see like on TV or something, but not like a boring one. But it's like very like super interesting.
Yeah, and it like flashes between the normal like it shows archive footage of
of Vietnam and stuff like that.
Of Vietnam, and then it also like shows like footage of a basically a congressional hearing with one of the characters in the game. So the way they work it is, and especially at the beginning, I don't know if you noticed, it's kind of like a Tarantino movie how it starts out.
Yeah.
It's straight
it's
up.
It's got the music and everything. Like,
yeah.
It's still like, it's basically like, that's still in that time frame. So all the music in it is great, like old school Southern rock, or they have rock in there, and
country music.
Yeah, a little bit of country music. And like, my favorite thing about the radio is that it will play news clips from that time era, like when JFK got assassinated, and like when there's like marches all throughout the streets and everything like that. It actually put those like news clips inside like the game, so that is like, so it's cool. So it's like it and gets you more involved instead of like, because San Andreas and stuff, those are cool games, but they're not based off of real life happenings, more or less. Well, this game is more realistic.
Oh yeah, and it's like, as anybody knows who like knows anything about American history, like that was it's a similar to where we're at today. It's a very tumultuous time between, you have not only the, Vietnam War going on, so you have, people,
peace, love, and war type thing.
Yeah, so it's like people are protesting a war for the first time, in this country, and so you have all that going on. Young men are going to die, and
you got that mafia at home trying to control everything.
And then you have this civil rights movement. It was a time, and like the game shows it very well too, that it's a time when, they'd have signs on doors that said, "Colored people not allowed."
Yeah.
Whites only.
Whites only, or something.
And that's one of the smart things, they do in the game, is you're playing as an African American in this time. And like, say what you will about like current politics and stuff like that, regardless of how you feel about that, all these things that went on back then are like well represented in this game. And I feel like it's, it's just honest. It's a honest game. There's like a warning before the game.
I was going to say at the beginning, there's a warning, which I almost wish they didn't put in, but I understand why they did. But it warns you that there could be some sensitive type materials to it. but basically it still doesn't full like it apologizes for it, but it says at the same time like, hey, this is real. What happened? It's like they didn't make a whole fictitious game from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a lot of the people you talk to and stuff like that in the world, like they're straight up racist. But then you also have like you know at that time and in the past and stuff, like Irish and Italian were also looked down upon. So there's like camaraderie between these people. But then also you have the you know main character and other people in the black mob calling the Haitian like gangsters coon asses.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't want to work with them, and they're being racist against the Haitians. So it's like,
yeah. But they're saying like if you're gonna kill each other, do it in secrecy because they don't want on the TV or on the news, black on black crime because they already have us. I can't even think of the word for it, but they already are considered blacks bad, or they already had their stereotypes for them. So to see them killing each other would just make things worse, like make matters worse instead of better.
Exactly. And like that's, and so like I wanted to start talking about all this stuff, the presentation of the game, the narrative structure, because like especially the beginning of the game, it is very guided. It's not like you're in the free roam world at all. It's directing you in missions, and it's literally doing like flashbacks and flash forwards, all while this bank heist mission is going on.
Yeah.
Before the Italian mafia turns on you and your adoptive like father and stepbrother and stuff. So all that stuff, to me, with the music, like John was talking about, the music is amazing. Like, you got a bunch of Creedence in there. You got Johnny Cash in there. You got Aretha Franklin. Like, all this.
The Animals.
Awesome,
yeah. House of the Rising Sun.
All these awesome, like, songs and bands. And, and with that radio, with the music playing, also while, you do missions, it'll bring up radio broadcast about what you've done. But not just that, it'll also have, like, if it's correlating around the time of, like, something important in history, it'll, like, bring up,
like news clips, yeah, like I said, like the JFK assassination or the
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, getting assassinated and stuff like that.
And then on top of that, you hear people out in the world talking about it.
Yeah, like they're talking about it.
There's literally these two ladies, black ladies, having a conversation about Martin Luther King getting murdered.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I don't see how that could happen. Like,
or how they can see it was just one person and things of that nature.
So I wanted to get that out of the way first because to me, that's easily the best part of the game.
Yeah.
All that presentation stuff is...
Because it envelops you into the story better. Like, some of the things that we'll talk about later can take you away from the story and take you away from the experience. But getting to see that, and we're not saying it's like super positive, like, oh, this is awesome that it happened. But we're saying it's good that a game is saying, hey, this happened and all these things went on. Like, this is realistic. This is a real thing, but also there's a fictitious story behind it. So it's like it's mixing in real world situations with a fake a game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what they normally call it is historical fiction.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to talk about the gameplay. And also a big thing for me, like, especially if you guys listen to this podcast, I really, really enjoy this game. Yeah. It is a game I was looking forward to for a long time. And the aspects that I was really looking forward to, it is delivering on. So I definitely recommend it. But I also have a recommendation for people who are going to play it. And that I basically changed the way I was playing it after I had, been playing it for a good probably at least 8 hours. So I don't know how you feel about the mission structure, because I'm trying to think of exactly how far you would have gotten, but there is a lot of repetition in this game.
Yeah, there is.
And not only
you kill the group, you kill a group of henchmen more or less to take over an area, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it so much where you take a. It's basically if you ever played Far Cry or Far Cry 3, that's the game. It's basically like Far Cry, like right, like
it's and I guarantee you that's exactly what they were going for was the Far Cry. Go into this base, clear it out. The only problem is I feel like Far Cry, the AI is a lot more dynamic. There's a lot different like types of structures because most of the time in this game you're going to a warehouse, a garage, or a backyard.
Yeah,
and that's about it. I did one at like a shipyard, but
yeah, because in Far Cry you would go into like castles or not a cat. Well, it is a castle, but like a little village, like a small village.
And then also you'd have a ton of different ways of approaching it. So I'm,
Yeah, and you do and you don't in this game because there's certain ones that has like 3 entry points and you can try to be sneaky, but there's certain ones that only have like 2 and you can still be sneaky, but it's not.
Well, and the problem is I think I'm like 15 hours into the game and I just now finally unlocked silenced weapons.
Yeah, I don't have silent weapons yet.
Yeah,
which is super. Makes things way more difficult because, like, if there's 2 people next to each other, it'd be so much easier for me to pop them off both with a silenced weapon. But right now, I have to, like, whistle because you can whistle to, like, get them away from each other. Whistle, and I kind of cheat almost in a way, is I'll stand behind, like, cover or I'll stand behind a wall, wait for one to get close, hit circle because that's how you do your tactical move. And then the other guy will see him and be like, huh?
Yeah.
And it'll be like Metal Gear Solid, but huh? What was that noise? And he'll just walk up, and then I'll just hit circle again and be like, huh? Kill them both? You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, I don't know. Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
and that's the thing. Like, when you're first starting out, you don't have silenced weapons, so you have 2 ways you can go about it. You walk in there shooting everybody with whatever gun you have, or you slowly sneak around, hide behind a wall, whistle, hit circle.
Or you can throw these screaming dolls. I forgot about to say those.
I literally used them the one time they introduced them and haven't touched them since. Just because I saw what I had to do to get a silenced weapon and I just finally got that to happen today.
Yeah, I need to get to that point because it'll make my life so much easier.
And it is it makes the game even easier because I'm literally just I'm barely taking cover now because, if you don't have everybody after you, you literally just walk around with a silenced pistol and start popping everybody in the head. Because I boosted my gun accuracy on my SMG and my silenced pistol. Both are silenced now. And I literally just, walk like a fucking badass, just, pop. And they're, and that's the thing. The shooting is, really satisfying.
Yeah.
It's just when you're first starting out the game, you have 2 blocks of health.
Yeah. You
have only 3 med kits, and...
Well, it's not even med kits. You stab yourself with the needle.
Yeah, it's adrenaline shots. And it's you have pretty limited ammo, which I haven't even gotten to the point where I can upgrade my ammo capacity.
Yeah.
But, there just wasn't that many options, and when you're doing the same thing over and over again, it starts getting annoying. And I started getting...
boring. It can get kind of boring.
If I'm not mistaken, GameSpot's, they have, Mafia 3 review, and they have their little tagline or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure theirs was Bored on the Bayou. Born on the Bayou.
That's
nice. But I had, this epiphany where... So basically those missions that we're talking about where you repeat them over and over again...
Yeah.
There's only a certain number you have to do before you can get to the boss fight with the guy,
main boss, or the
area.
mob boss. Yeah,
the lieutenants, I guess, or underbosses or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's only a certain number you need to do. Now, me, when I play games like that, I'm super meticulous. The very first area I could explore, I did all those side missions, and I popped the achievement for doing all the things. Well, it turns out you really don't need to do that. Because it takes so long for you to level up that if all you do is the bare minimum to get those guys to come out, the game goes faster, it's a lot more fun, you're not doing the same thing over and over again. Because really, most of them, if you find the one big one in the area, it takes out most of the what they call damage. You have to do a certain amount of damage to like their income.
Yeah, bust up, that would be the one thing that's different. Like one of the mob, you had to bust up the union contracts because there's a union mob or not a union mob, but a mob that's trying to control the union. And then there's one where you can destroy like cases.
Yeah, they have trafficking.
Yeah,
and they're all just these rackets that were real rackets. Back when the Mafia, which most people will say the Mafia still exists, but they're all based on like rackets, so unions, trafficking, prostitution, drug running, like all these different things.
Yeah.
Now, because I don't know how you've been playing it, if you've been meticulous like that.
Yeah, I've been, because like when I see because there gets to a point where it tells you can go after the boss, but then when I see on my map there's still like a skeleton left, I have to go get that skeleton before I go face the boss, even though technically I can like not beat it, but attempt to fight the boss already. Because I feel like A, you can get more money that way to purchase things for your weapons or whatever, and B, you're like actually completing the game and not like skipping
and that was
stuff.
The problem I had, but really all you're doing is like hurting the gameplay experience. Because it turns
I'm making
out
it more boring for myself almost.
Because literally some of those missions you go and do, you don't get any money. You literally just rack up damage. Like you may get like $200, but once you start feeding these rackets, once you beat that boss that we're talking about, once you feed those rackets, then you're getting payouts
from certain areas,
from your because you assign all these different areas to your underbosses. Mm-hmm. You bring in like a crew of 3 different people who help you run. They're your underbosses, and they have lieutenants in the areas and stuff.
Which I feel like is the ultimate. Okay, this is going to be another nitpicky thing, and probably like kind of shitty for me to say, but I think it's such a irony that this guy got attacked by the mob, and now he's gonna try and control the mob, by himself instead of just taking it down completely.
Well, I mean, all right, spoilers for a second. He justifies that. You remember what he says he's doing? He's like, because everybody he meets is saying exactly what John's saying. Let's just walk in there and shoot the motherfucker. But Lincoln Clay, because his whole family was murdered in front of him, and they almost killed him, what he says is, no, I don't want him. I don't want to just kill him. I want him to experience loss.
What he had to go through.
Yeah.
I understand.
He's like, I want to crumble his entire empire before I lay him down.
Yeah, before I kill him completely.
And to me, and that is very much like a pulpy, revenge tale kind of thing, but it fits in with the story. If it was, let's just go kill this old man.
I guess that's how Frank Castle kind of does things, is he takes out the whole mob and then...
I made you kill your wife. I made you kill your best friend. And I just killed your son. Or no, and I killed your son. And the other one. The explosion goes on.
And then that's from the...
the Punisher with Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane. I almost said Frank Thomas was a baseball player.
So, it sounds like you were approaching it the same way I was approaching it, where, you're wanting to do everything because you don't want to miss out on content of the game.
Yeah, or miss out on extra cash because I figure I would need it. Oh, and the one cool thing I'll say is, I like how you can stash cash. Usually, if you die... you could lose all your money, over half of it. Well, in this game, you can at a certain point. And this is another thing I don't like about the game, too. I understand that you have to earn certain things, earn to get a person to store your cash, earn to get a person to get guns and get weapons and stuff like that. But I do like how you can stash cash. So what you do is, you call in somebody, it's a female driver. I'm not going to say any characters' names because I don't want to ruin it or whatever. And she'll drive, and it's kind of cool because she'll drive wherever the hell you are. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the middle of the road, in a busy intersection, you're like, hey, I need supplies, she'll come. There's still questions asked.
And what's even better about that lady you're talking about who comes and picks up your money, once you level up one level, how I'm talking about, just getting farther ahead and upgrading, not only when you make those calls, not only will she come pick up the cash you have on hand and store it for you, she'll also go to all 3 of your underbosses and collect your kickbacks.
Oh,
so if you have like
see, I need to get to that point, yeah, because I haven't even been collecting my other money because I'm just like, I don't have time for this.
And because it sounds like you only have one of the like underbosses completed, which would be Cassandra.
I think I have her, and then I'm working on the other one. So, and I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head.
Is it the Irish guy or the Italian guy?
The Irish guy.
Okay, so yeah, that basically you're still technically in the tutorial, but they don't really even tell you that because especially like I did that whole thing like meticulous, and I was like, this is driving me nuts. But if you go into this game thinking, all right, there's going to be repetition unless I do something different,
yeah, you're
gonna get bored. Because I got bored like leading up to those 2 missions with the next 2 guys that you're working with.
Yeah,
I was about ready to go, like, I'm done with this.
It almost made me, I got to a point where I wish that there's a taxi you can call and just be like, just drive me to my objective.
There's no fast travel.
Yeah, there's no fast travel.
What the and it's a huge map. There's a bayou, there's the city, there's the French Quarter, everything.
I just thought it'd be cool at least where you can like rent a taxi or like hire a taxi cab. Even if the guy drove like you're on a crazy taxi, like I would totally go with it. Or you just hear some offspring in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just none of that.
There's
like
nothing.
You have to drive everywhere. That's why.
And there's okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, you can go ahead.
There's a mission where you have to get drugs from certain guys, and the base of where you're coming from to the base where you're going to get the semi truck full of like drugs and stuff like that is like thousands of meters. So you're like driving halfway across the map just to pick up the semi truck, and then you get the semi truck that drives slow as balls, and you have to drive it all the way back to where you were, and you have to park it. And I'm not a semi truck driver, but you have to park it in this like tiny like vestibule or this tiny area at this very specific circle. Like there's one time, and I got to post a video of this because it'll make you laugh, and it'll make our listeners laugh. There's one time where I saved it, where I went to pull the truck up, and the circle was like right in front of me, and I was rolling kind of fast. So I just decided to jump out. I'm like, I'm not going to make this stop. So I just decided to jump out, and the fucking thing jackknifed on me. And so when it jackknifed on me, it hit something soft. Like I swear to God, it hit like a pallet, and like that disabled my truck. Like it won't like start. So I had to like start over. Yeah. Like there's like certain things in the game that are kind of glitchy. Like I don't know if you've experienced this, not to cut you off. One more thing that I did want to talk about was the rain. It rains in that game because you're in Louisiana, It rains in that game. If you're going a certain speed, if you watch the rain instead of going on the whole screen like rain does in real life, it'll focus just over your car. So just over your car, you'll see rain, but everywhere else is clear as day. And I don't think it's my PlayStation that's doing that. I think it's just one of those things that, was programmed in that way.
Well, here's and this is something that we barely talked about this game, but we were texting a little bit the day after he got it. And I have to come out swinging for these guys because here's the thing. This was a new team.
Yeah.
They built the engine from the ground up.
That's cool.
Brand new proprietary tech for a new team working on this game. Some of the guys who worked on Mafia 1 and 2, helped them with it.
More involved.
But
90%
of this game is a new team with a new engine. And the thing is people complain about I'm tired of playing the same thing over and over again. But then when a new experience comes along, a new studio, a new way to play a game like this, like GTA or Saints Row and stuff like that, when a different experience comes along, then people bitch that it's glitchy, even though it's look, this is a new team, brand new engine. I understand you're paying $60, but that's why they have patches.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they've already done 2 patches already, and I none of that stuff bugs me if I can play the game.
Yeah.
Like, if it's just a graphical thing.
It is funny to see. Like, it doesn't bug me either, but it is funny. If anything, I've been trying to drive as fast as I fucking can.
Oh, yeah.
Just to get the rain to go just on my car. I'm like, this is actually kind of funny. Like,
and that's the thing. Like, there's 2 different driving modes. One's normal, one's simulation.
yeah.
For me,
drive on simulation if you buy the game.
Yeah, it's super fun. There's a lot of weight to the vehicles. Like, it's kind of like the driving in Grand Theft Auto 4, which most people hated, but I could drive around in GTA 4 for hours, and now I don't have to because this game has a very similar driving model.
Yeah. And has a way better. I killed our own friends, but I love the soundtrack the most in this game, just because it's like all the music in there is like it's not from my age, like my age bracket, I guess you would say, but it definitely is like so easy to listen to some like nice classic like. Even if it's like anti-war music or whatever, you know, like I just enjoy like listening to it.
But that's the thing. Like, if you want to talk about music for a second, can you honestly think of a single act from, we'll say, post-grunge till now that'll actually be relevant 50 years from now?
I would hope so, but I don't think. God, it'll be very few and far between.
I can't think of any. Like, even the music I love, like, I love Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
They're not going to be relevant 50 years from now.
Yeah.
That's not going to be...
They don't play them on the radio now anyways, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the classic rock stations will play it and whatnot, but, like, there's just... That's the thing about, like, why that soundtrack is so good is because, like, it was from a time when music was just fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was a genre you don't like modern of, like, the country music station in that game... Outstanding. You know, you got the live version of Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash and stuff like that. It's, yeah. But, so my thoughts so far, like, I imagine by the time I beat the game, we'll talk more about the story.
Yeah. Because you and I are at different points. I have to catch up to you a little bit.
And that's the thing. I honestly, truly, especially because we got, you know, Infinite Warfare coming up here, you know, in just a few weeks. Like, I honestly think you'll enjoy the game a lot more if you just start pressing forward. Because, honestly, you really don't get that much money by making sure everything's clear. And there's not even something that pops when everything's clear. Like, you usually have to look for the stuff. Otherwise, like, you know, it just says, go talk to this person so you can continue on. I think you'll really start, like...
Yeah, I'm going to start skipping some of the ones because, like, now that you're telling me that it'll be okay, like, you won't lose anything super valuable, then that'll be easier for me to...
Like, because we're adults and we don't have all the time in the world to play video games, and, like, the reality of, like, that content that you're, like, spending extra time in is not worth it because sometimes even... the boss you need to go kill will be at the exact last mission place that you did.
Oh, wow.
So I did this thing where I had to, I think it was basically I had to, like, destroy a bunch of, like, shipments of, like, drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's this big warehouse with a bunch of dudes inside. And I had to go through, clear it all out, and destroy all those things.
Now, are you trying to go stealthy at first, or are you just going balls to the wall?
Yeah, I mean,
Excuse me.
especially now, like, now that I'm got silenced weapons, I'm trying to go a little stealthy at first and making sure I take out sentries. Because otherwise you'll have, like, an entire thing of reinforcements.
Yeah, because the sentries will call... Like, I will say another cool thing about that game is the civilians will rat you out.
Oh, yeah.
Like... If the civilians, like, well, I guess you're a civilian too. That's not, but like the NPCs, like Zach said, the people walking around the street, if they see you like steal a car, they will call the police on you.
You want to know what the coolest part about that is, though?
You can kill them.
No, did you notice that, like, the police response time
depends on the area? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in a, like, upper class white neighborhood, the cops are on you like that. There's 2 cop cars, and they're hunting you down. If you steal a car in, like, a black neighborhood...
I like even the dispatcher says, check on it if you get a chance.
Yeah.
If you... Not to bother you, but there's there's a car being stolen on this block, blah, 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 blah. And then the dispatcher would be like, if you get a chance, just check it out. And then you'll never see a cop car. Or if the cop car comes, you're already long gone. There's like...
Yeah. And then, like, the exact... Like, I went to, like, steal... Like, not only, like... The car wasn't parked on the side of the road. I dragged somebody out of their car and took their car.
Yeah.
Somebody ran and called the cops. The police dispatcher said the black male stolen vehicle... he is very armed and very dangerous. We need all units now. And I started laughing so hard because...
This reminds me again of Scary Movie where she goes to call the police. Or she like messages the police on the computer. Yeah. And they're like, white woman in trouble. White woman in trouble.
And all these cars.
Yeah, all these cop cars. I think this is like the third episode that I quoted Scary Movie. So I think I like that series more than I thought. But...
Well, I mean, we're horror fanatics. Like, very much always kind of watched horror movies.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that too. Where the dispatcher,
I tried to set up a beautiful segue.
Segue, but I was stuck on that.
You're just like, I'm just gonna shit on that.
fuck your Skywig. I've never ridden a Segway.
How about you just walk, you fat ass?
Yeah,
you don't need a Segway.
All right, so we're gonna cover.
Well, Mafia 3 is awesome.
Yeah, I say buy it.
I say buy it. Just make sure that if you're like a completionist, just keep moving forward. Push through. You know, get to the objective done. Then go kill the mob bosses, and then you're gonna make more money that way. You're gonna unlock shit faster, and things are gonna get more fun. Plus, you get to do the big missions quicker, which are the best part.
Which will help you unlock everything.
When we do like a full-on spoiler thing, which I think when we're both done, we should like just talk about certain things.
Yeah.
There's one mission that I've played so far where it's like one of your first big kills. That's like one of the best missions I played in a video game in like 2 years.
Really?
It's fucking awesome.
I'm interested to hear that or see that. Or obviously I'm gonna...
Yeah.
Might not be the same, but I'll probably witness kind of like... Or not witness, but participate in the...
I think you might have already done it.
I don't know.
We'll talk about it off mic just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
But horror movies.
Yes.
It's October.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about horror anything really. So what I mean, what do you want to cover? Like do you have like a top 5 in your head?
I don't.
Like if there's like you have to say top 5 right now, like what would they be?
See,
that's kind of tough.
It's really tough because I was working on a top 5 video games or a top 10 video games the other day, and I was like looking at it for like 30 minutes, and things were coming off, things were getting put on. I don't have a top 5. I do have my number 1 all-time favorite horror movie.
What's that?
My favorite horror movie, and like this is, you know, the horror genre is a big genre, but my favorite horror movie that I've ever seen is The Thing.
The Thing. The original one?
No, the John Carpenter. Well, okay, so most people would think when I say The Thing, they're already thinking of the John Carpenter one.
Yeah.
But technically, there's a movie before that called The Thing from Outer Space that was like an old black and white serial horror movie.
Yeah.
That then John Carpenter, you know, from Escape from New York and, you know, the original Halloween.
Film.
No, book.
Oh, a book.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, what the... I'm like,
you
I'm
should probably
watching
just
the
put the
Halloweens.
controller down. Like,
yeah.
He is way absorbed
into this
in
game.
the Modern Warfare remake. And there's a times where I'm like, not sure he knows what he's saying. It's just like...
I'm just kind of blabbering. I'm actually going to turn off the game completely so we can just talk.
This way we can just chat. I'm thinking we might need to try this every once in a while.
Yeah.
So basically, The Thing by John Carpenter. Starring Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell? Yeah.
Like, I'll do like a quick synopsis. It's basically, you know, this American research team in this base. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it doesn't really matter exactly where it's at. But I think it's like the North Pole type area, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's just snow and ice.
Didn't they remake it?
Miles.
I thought they remade it.
They did a remake / I think it was a prequel. So the modern one, I'm pretty sure.
See, I've never seen the modern one. I've only seen the old one, but I've seen Or
Oh, I didn't watch the modern one. I was like, why would you do this? This movie's perfect. You don't need to remake this. Any John Carpenter movie, you don't need to remake. Fuck you, Rob Zombie, for remaking Halloween.
I liked it.
Absolutely no reason.
The little kid had such a weird face.
Wait, you are a fan of those.
No, I'm not saying I'm a fan. I'm just saying that kid did have a weird face. I'm not saying I've been rewatch one of my early birthday gifts. Not to cut you off again. I'm really bad at this. Every time I re-listen to a podcast that my brother and I made, I'm like, man, I cut him off too much. But real quick, the remake where the little creepy kid, I've been watching them all again, and I realize how much I appreciate the original ones because it was like nothing extra to it. It's just this guy coming at you. So just continue. Sorry.
Yeah, and I agree. The remakes are fucking terrible, and it's just Rob Zombie masturbating to himself. Like, fuck him.
Well, he does have a hot wife, but that's neither here nor there.
She's hot? Like,
I think so.
You remember Ed, Edd, and Eddie? You remember how the one kid had that piece of wood? It was just a wood. I think his name was Mr. Plank.
Yeah.
That's Sherry Moon Zombie.
Okay, fine.
But with a terrible voice.
Fine.
Like, if you want that, you can go over to Family Dollar.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they're cousins.
Which makes zero sense to anybody that's listening. My brother and I, okay, this is way off topic. We went inside this Family Dollar near us to pick up a bottle of water because I needed it just to talk clearly so I don't have that throat thing. And this lady that was at the checkout line was like talking to me. And there got to a point where I'm starting to realize I think she's hitting on me. And I'm not a boastful person at all. But I think it was just because like I was wearing the nicest jacket at the time in there or something. And she was like talking to me. And then I'm a conversationalist naturally. So I was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And my brother, like the second we get out of there, he was like, ooh, she's hitting on you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he's like, why don't you go back and get the number? I'm like, I'm in the process of like going with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with a girl right now. I can't be like, hey, chick, I need your number because I'm not a cheater.
I know. And it was just funny because, like, he got so embarrassed because, like, he wasn't like, hitting on her at all, but, like, she was like, give me some of that white chocolate. And he was just, like, beet red all of a sudden. When he realized what she was doing, like, macking on him, like, he went beet red, and I'm behind him holding the case of water, trying so hard not to laugh my ass off. I was just,
and I'm like, and I try to, like, conversate with my brother at this point. I'm like, that bottles of water were cheaper than the Gatorade. I just bought, like, just random shit, you know?
Have a nice day. Anyways, the thing.
Yes.
I got cut off so hard I ended up in a different state.
I hate you.
So, the thing, basically, they're on this, you know, in this research base, in the tundra. A blizzard's on its way in, and the thing is basically an alien that can replicate anything it comes into contact with.
So it's like a ditto. Sorry.
I hate you. So, basically, the coolest the aspects of the horror that terrify me in that movie are they're in the tundra. I hate fucking being cold. We have southern blood. Even if I was born in Baltimore, the blood is still southern, and I hate the cold.
Yeah.
I hated the cold this morning when I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But so there's that. So there's like the claustrophobia of it being freezing cold, so you can go outside and freeze to death.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so freezing cold and there's snow everywhere and a blizzard coming, you're trapped. You can't run anywhere.
Yeah.
Because your chances to stay there, or
because even if you escape, you're in the tundra
and you're gonna die.
Yeah, unless you've been through some sort of extreme training, you know. Because there is such thing in the military as SEER training, but I don't think they train you to survive longer than maybe a few weeks at most. You know what I mean? No, I could be wrong.
These are scientists on top of that. They're not
specially trained military, which you would think they would train them somewhat considering the environment they're going to go to, but scientists probably don't typically get that sort of thing.
Yeah, so add to that, this alien can replicate whatever it comes into contact with, which means any of the people around you could be the thing. Mm-hmm. And there is a fucking classic scene where they realize that the creature reacts poorly to flame or any kind of heat, which makes sense why it's in the tundra, you know?
Yeah.
So they do this awesome thing where they draw everybody's blood, they label them on a petri dish. Once again, scientists, so it actually makes sense why they would come up to do this test. And then they have a flamethrower, and they take like the tip of the flamethrower, which is, you know, hot, and they touch it to the blood samples. Because like the creature itself, like every part is technically a living organism. So every single aspect of it, you know, it can like come apart, but it's always, you know, one thing. So there's a scene where they're all sitting there and you have no idea who the fucking alien is.
Yeah.
And everybody's offered up their blood except for one person. And that person is like tied up. I really need to rewatch this because I try to watch it every year, but I haven't watched it in 2 years now because I've been waiting to get the Blu-ray because they released a new edition. I'm like, oh, I want
which I have.
You got the one they released like last month?
Well, it was last year. They had one on Blu-ray that they released.
They released like this new deluxe edition.
Oh.
Anyways, so the scene is basically they, you know, going one by one, and like when the fucking thing happens, it doesn't end up even like they don't even get to touch the blood to it. The fucking thing just. Oh, I can't describe this in a way that's actually going to be as awesome as the movie.
Yeah,
but
so just go see it.
Go, you know, you can go on YouTube and probably look up The Thing testing blood scene, and that'll probably be the first result to pop up. It is fucking intense. The whole movie's awesome. Kurt Russell's awesome. Like,
but he's always awesome.
He is. Like, think about all the movies that dude's been in that are awesome. Like, he even makes chick flicks fucking awesome.
Because it's Kurt Russell.
Like, him and Goldie Hawn just, like, making movie magic. Like, she don't know who she is. So he's going to marry her. Anyways, do you have a top 5 or a top 1? Or
There's one that every top 5 or top 10 of horror movies, no matter what, I always put one movie on top. And the reason I always put this movie on top is A, the character from the movie I always had nightmares with, even when I was young. Well, not now. Obviously, I'm an adult, but my dreams consist now of me getting shot and stuff like that. But I always had nightmares with them. And the premise of the movie, if you really think about it, is really like terrifying in all aspects, even though it's considered cheesy now. And that's the Nightmare on Elm Street. The original Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund as the actor for the killer. So the premise on Nightmare on Elm Street, if you don't know, is Freddy Krueger, who's the bad guy or the slasher killer or whatever, haunts you in your dreams. And it's mainly like kids and teenagers. So if you're like a little kid, and the story behind it is he molests these kids, or he would bring kids down into his basement where he had a boiler room type thing, and they would get murdered or they would get killed.
Raped and murdered.
He would rape and murder them. And so what the town did is they all got together, burned his house down, burned him in it, and now instead of being like a physical entity, he's more like a dream entity. So imagine like anytime you go to sleep, at any moment you go to sleep, the second you're in the REM sleep, you can get killed. He'll come, get you killed. Yes, the movies are now pretty cheesy in retrospect. And the first one was Johnny Depp. It was actually his very first movie with Wes Craven and all that. But I always say Nightmare on Elm Street is my top scary movie. You know, it's like not really scary per se.
No, but
but
the concept is terrifying. It's just like The Thing. Like, aliens don't exist, but the concept of being out in the frozen tundra with an alien that can replicate humans, is fucking terrifying. Having a dude who can come to your dreams and fucking kill you in your sleep is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and it even got to the point where if he attached to enough, he can come to your world, or you can take stuff from him. Or so, for example, Nancy, who is Heather. Oh man, I should know this because I'm such a fan, but I think it's Heather Langton Camp. Yeah, Langton Camp. I might be saying that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Um, she like starts to learn that she can bring stuff from the dream world that he's in. So she tries to take his hat. She tries to brings him into the real world to give her more of an advantage. Because if you're in his world, you have to understand he manipulates the dream world. So you're having a dream, you might think it's like a normal situation, kind of like you were saying, but you're really in his world and he's controlling you, and that scares the bejesus out of me.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing though. I just shit all over the Halloween remake. Did you see the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street?
I did.
Quite frankly, I think there was a script for that movie that was fucking awesome that Michael Bay kind of shit on at times. But there's aspects to that remake that I think are fucking awesome.
Yeah, I like the origin story because it goes over the origin story.
And what is it? And do you remember what it does with like that whole central thing to his figure? They make it to where they make it over the movie like in the 80s version, you know for definite he murdered kids, parents got together, burned him alive. Now he's coming after their children and attacking them in their dreams. Mm-hmm. But in the remake, they make it to where you're not sure if he actually did these things. Mm-hmm. So it
made it seem like there's certain things that were planted. Like, maybe not planted might be the wrong word, but where things were like over, like basically all these people, it's almost like the movie The Burbs. If you ever seen that with Tom Hanks, the movie The Burbs with Tom Hanks is there. It's this community, like this upper class community, and there's this group of people that live with them. Their house isn't as kept up and stuff like that, so they all automatically assume that he's a killer or that family is a killer. Unfortunately, in The Burbs, it becomes true, but so is Nightmare on Elm Street. But in Nightmare on Elm Street, there's certain scenes that make you think,
like, was he really just super nice to the kids, and like did the kids just enjoy being around him, and some like misplaced like thoughts end up leading to these parents burning a man alive when somebody else actually ended up killing a child and getting away with it. So I love that aspect to it. Like, and that's why I'm saying like teenage actors and stuff in the movie were terrible. It was shot kind of funny, like a little too slickly. The other thing I thought was really cool in the remake was they talk about how they all have to stay up. Now, there's a thing, anybody who's been up for long periods of time and isn't like military trained to like stay awake, you literally could be in the middle of a conversation and just like black out.
Zonk out, yeah. I did that all the time in the military, so.
Yeah. So they literally, like, they're trying to stay awake, and what do they call it? They called it, like...
They take this medicine to stay awake. I think even in the first one. No, in the first one, the original, with Heather Langton Camp, God bless, I cannot pronounce that name. Their parents are trying to make them take sleeping pills. Like, they're slipping it into their coffee and stuff like that. In this movie, they're taking something else to try to stay awake because they know about the situation. You know, if they fall asleep, then this will happen. You know what I mean? They'll get into the dream world.
Yeah, and there's like, what do they call it? Like a waking nightmare? Like a living... Basically, like, they're so sleep deprived. Like, there's a scene where, like, a kid's in, like, a convenience store and he's, like, falling asleep on his fucking feet. And, like, Freddy starts coming for him. And they're trying to, like, wake him up, and he's, like, half awake, half not. Like, there's a really good movie somewhere in that script that was written, and it was just shot terribly. Like, because they took the concept that was scary for everybody back in the 80s, seems cheesy now because, like, special effects and stuff, and, like, you know, people's ability to, like, stomach a lot more has changed. And some writer was like, man, wouldn't that be fucking cool if we update this to where, like, look, like... Okay, you can't fall asleep, period.
Yeah.
But then you can be so asleep that you're literally daydreaming, And so you're like half awake, half asleep, and you're seeing shit, and Freddy can latch in and attack at that moment. And then also, like, the whole movie, you're like, was he really that bad? Was he really the bad guy? Or were the parents actually the evil ones?
Just hunting for somebody, like, because you hear about that sometimes in real life where, like, people will, like, hunt for an answer. Like, even if you're not, which it could be another political conversation, but just, like, for movie's sake, like, where people will hunt for an answer if they don't have it, like, right away, if they don't have it instantaneously. And another movie real quick that's kind of jumped into my top 10, and we talked about it last podcast, is It Follows. Because I think I reflected on that a lot last podcast, but the thing to me is, like, it's so cool. It's almost like it's not like the Thing. The Thing is its own thing, its own entity, but it steals some of that idea, which now it's kind of funny thinking about that, because it steals the idea of it. It follows the thing that comes to kill you can be, like Zach said, for the Thing, anything, anybody, like any person.
Yeah.
Like, it could be your family member, friend, you know, and at any point, like, even when you pass it on, like Zach said last time, so if you want, go back and listen, it rolls back down. So let's say, like, you have to sleep with somebody to get rid of it. So let's say you, like, sleep with somebody, you know, let's say you sleep with the creature feature, just to get, you know, the chick at the dollar store, just to get it done and over with. And then the creature feature can't lay with anybody else and she gets murdered. Guess what? It follows it right back. And all you got is memories of creature feature creature feature sex.
Which sadly is kind of like Final Destination, where if it skips you, it goes to the next person. Yeah. We won't talk about that, though. But yeah, It Follows was fucking awesome. It was a revelation. It's another one that, as I said, like, I don't really get scared watching scary movies. The last time...
I do at certain ones, I will admit. Even as a 30-year-old adult. Because it's like... It's not, like, not scared as in, like, fear for my life, but I get, like, the heebie-jeebies. Like, especially, like, Exorcist movies. Because I feel like...
That's what I was about to bring up. I think the last time I got genuinely frightened watching a movie was... what was it called? The Last Exorcism.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing that makes that movie so cool, and it's funny because my brother, like, pointed it out to me, is he said that, like, I think it was you said that, like, the preacher seems like me, that I could be that preacher. Like,
yeah.
Like, don't believe in God or anything like this, but get on a stage and just, like, basically laugh at people and take their money and believe in this shit.
Please, are you going to bring up the banana?
The banana bread.
Please.
Well, you have to post this on YouTube, but, like, if you're religious, which my brother is, like, don't want to offend you, but the movie kind of falls back in on itself later on, but regardless, the movie is a found footage film, and it sets it up to where they're, you know, talking to this preacher who doesn't believe in anything he does.
Well, because, 5 seconds. I won't cut you off that much. Because his father was a preacher, they thought it would bring more people into the church if he was a kid preacher.
Yeah, because he would basically just, like, mock what his dad was doing at home. And they're like... Because
they wanted more people for more money.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we can have him come in. And, like, so he doesn't buy it, but he's a really good preacher. He's really good at his job. Mm-hmm. So he's talking to the documentary crew. Because the whole concept of the movie is he's going to go show them that, like, exorcisms
isn't real.
Are bullshit.
Yeah.
But if it brings, you know, the people peace of mind by doing it, then he's fine with it.
Yeah, he's cool with it.
Well, he tells the camera crew, he's like, I'm pretty sure I could get these people to give me an amen to do a banana bread recipe. And so in the middle of this guy's sermon, he starts going and he's like, you can take 2 bananas and you take a pinch of salt and you put it in the oven 350 for 14 minutes. Can I get an amen? And they're like, amen. And he turns and looks at the camera.
He's like, boom.
Yeah, with his arms raised, like, look at the power I have. And it's so fucking awesome. Yeah,
because he's like, if you believe in the holy God, can I get an amen? And if you believe, you can take 2 eggs, break them open, so you know, do this whole thing. Oh my God,
it's so good. And the reason why I think that movie actually genuinely scared me, one, it's fucking creepy. They did really cool stuff with the found footage concept, but there's that aspect to it where I totally relate to that character, where I'd be like, man, if I really was this good at public speaking, like, I totally would just, like, take these motherfuckers' money because I think religion is dumb as shit. No offense to anybody. It's like, fine. I would never say don't believe what you believe.
I'm the kind of religious person that is more open to other people's opinions because I understand that sometimes it could be hard to follow the Bible, specifically the Bible. So I'm totally fine with ideology.
They killed a giant with a rock and a little man. Anyways, none of this. Basically,
height was never covered. Okay, go. Just go.
The aspect of it that like made it even more scary for me was the fact that like this is a person who doesn't believe at all. Okay, and he even thinks that when he's there, it's a hoax. But the family's creepy in general, so he thinks like this is a girl being raped by her parents. Turns out,
just her dad. The mom's not there. She's dead.
Yeah. Turns out that she is, in fact, possessed by a demon.
She's impregnated by it.
Yeah, so the end of the movie kind of goes off the rails.
You forgot one part. I'm sorry, go. Sorry.
Well, I don't want to try to spoil it.
I'm burning through this whole movie. You guys are, like, it's going to get spoiled.
I'm just saying the aspect that makes it, like, even more scary is, like, okay, imagine if I am, like, this, like, anti-holy roller, like, fuck all this, and then all of a sudden, like, it gets shown in my face that, like, no, this shit is real, and guess what? God, he exists.
Yeah.
But he can't even stop what's about to happen right now. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. The one part that you missed is, okay, so they get to the point, the preacher, alright, spoiler, skip 5 minutes ahead real quick.
You should see this movie and then come back to this part of the podcast.
Yeah. So there's a part where he's like, listen, I need help with this girl. I need her to get to the right place, so I'm going to bring her back to the church because that's where her dad kind of was like leading towards. But her dad was like separate from the church that was local there for some reason. Well, it turns out is that church is part of the occult, and so they're the ones who help bring her demon baby to birth, to life. And oh my god, so you're thinking like these church people, they're like, oh, you feel so much better and everything, and she, like, they think that she has a boyfriend that impregnated her and he might not know. Well, it turns out that the guy that they thought impregnated her is a homosexual, so he's like, no, I would never do that. He's like, I don't swing that way. And so when he went to go back, he's like, that makes zero sense, so she must, what the situation must be. And it turns out it's the occult, the church that was fucking trusted is the ones that are part of the demon worshippers. So he goes inside this church thinking they're praising God and all this stuff, when in actuality they're part of the demon worshippers.
See,
so
I thought you were going to say what the creepiest part of the movie is.
That part is creepy because you think like,
but then how do you go to church every Sunday? Because that's like how I feel. It's like all these people talking about praise Jesus, and then they go home and beat their wives and fucking burn, cheat on each other. And
babies coming out. Demon babies.
But the creepiest part of that movie to me
is when he finally believes, you think?
No. The creepiest part is after the first day they're creeped out, the dad runs them off like, get the fuck out of here. She doesn't want them to leave. She feels safe around them. They drive, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they said like they drove 60 miles away. They're heading home.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden, she's outside of their fucking hotel room.
No, she's inside, sitting on the bed, remember? Because the cameraman's coming back. He's like, oh shit, what the hell? Blah, blah, blah. And the cameraman runs up, and the chick who is possessed, or they don't think is possessed, because they stop at a hotel, and there's no way in hell she would know where this hotel is, and she's fucking there. Oh, I'm watching that tonight.
That's the creepy part of the movie.
Yeah.
To me, that's the creepiest scene because like they're like, we drove like 60. Didn't we drive for like an hour, like 60 miles, something like that? It's a decent distance.
Yeah.
For her to walk there. I could have sworn like she was just like standing by the window.
No, she was on the inside.
It's been
she was already inside.
4 years since I've
yeah,
seen it.
And what happens is one of the film's producers is a female, goes to sit next to her and like try to figure out what's happening, and she's like starts touching her, like the demon lady, not the producer, obviously. She starts touching her in like a sexual manner and like rubbing up on her and stuff like that.
That
so it's like
fucking awesome.
The only thing I don't like about the movie is they kill a cat, and
That's as they should do with all cats. Get rid of the cats.
Oh my god.
Cats are the worst creatures on earth.
I have a cat and Zach's just saying that to irritate me.
It worked.
But we are over a little bit, so we're gonna have to continue. Like, my brother and I are talking about maybe doing this on a weekend one time, so we could burn through like a 3-hour podcast. Because like I feel like even though we talked about stuff, there's like so much like we didn't cover. Because like me, like I could talk about movies like probably half a day and like not even be bothered by it, you know?
Yeah, if we had like a topic to go on, and then like we would start at one topic, and when we'd end up, it'd be like, what is your favorite movie starring Paul Giamatti's brother, Jim Giamatti? I can't
even think of one. Does he have a brother?
No, he doesn't. I was just...
I'm like, my favorite Paul Giamatti movie that maybe people have seen is probably The Last Castle.
Last Castle, what about John Dies at the End?
John Dies at the End?
Okay, you've already seen Last Exorcism. Tonight, it's on Netflix. You have Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Go home and watch John Dies at the End. Don't watch a trailer. Don't watch anything.
Just watch it.
Watch the movie John Dies at the End, and then tell me...
if The Last Castle is still my favorite.
Not only that, just tell me about if you like the movie.
Oh.
The movie is like...
I don't know. Like
it's an imagination machine. You just have to watch it.
Oh, God. Last Castle's awesome because it also has Robert Redford. So it's cool. Okay. We went over. That's fine.
Wait a second.
But it's cool, The Last Castle, why I like it so much, because it seems like Paul Giamatti and Robert Redford are trying to outact each other. Like
You're thinking of the wrong person.
What? Am I?
Paul Giamatti?
The fat guy?
You're thinking of fucking Tony Soprano?
Yeah.
For The Last Castle, he has the big glasses.
Yeah.
That's not Paul Giamatti.
Oh!
I
might edit this out.
I'm thinking Paul Giamatti has a small role in that fucking movie, because I'm like...
Who is that then? What is that guy's name?
He's dead.
Yeah, I feel real bad.
He's Tony Soprano from The Sopranos.
I thought that was his name. I'm looking it up right now. We usually don't whip out our phones, but I'm looking it up because now it's gonna bother me, because like I feel like I'm right, even though I'm probably not.
You're absolutely not. Paul Giamatti, you'll know too. You've seen him in 100 Things.
It's James Gandolfini.
Now look.
I just did a stereotype. Paul Giamatti, he's in the guy in The Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my favorite movie by Paul Giamatti is Shoot 'Em Up. Thank you.
I don't like that movie.
You don't like eat your vegetables? He kills a guy with the carrot and says, "Eat your vegetables."
That movie is trying so hard that it makes me tired.
Oh my god!
Just how hard it wants to be cool.
Eat your vegetables.
It's like there's movies where there's lines that are just like fucking cool.
This is where like, my brother and I like will disagree, because like there's certain movies I love that are so gay or cheesy. Sorry, no offense, I apologize, but are so like dumb and that he just hates, like he loathes it. You know?
That movie's so bad, like.
And I apologize to Paul Giamatti. I really do.
Like John Wick is what Shoot 'Em Up wishes it could be. But it's nowhere near as cool.
Yeah, but Shoot 'Em Up was made first, so maybe they copied.
No, I think John Wick was just like, we'll give it a decade to, capture its audience imagination, and then I'm just going to show up on scene and just... Have you seen the trailer for John Wick 2?
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking... He's got a new dog. And did you see who's at the end of the trailer?
Not to ruin the first one. I don't want to spoil that one here, but...
Did you see who's in the trailer for the second one? Fucking Morpheus. They're reuniting Neo and Morpheus.
Oh, okay. So they're jumping the shark? Are they jumping the shark?
That's why I'm saying Shoot 'Em Up wishes it was John Wick.
Are they jumping the shark?
Yeah, and he's like,
okay.
I thought you retired. And he's like, I'm trying to.
Show up and eat your vegetables. I'm close to that. All right, so
shut this down.
We gotta wrap this up. Things have gotten out of hand. I offended Paul Giamatti. This is worse than my Matt Parker and Trey Stone
That movie destroyed Clive Owen's career.
His career was over way before that.
Children of Men was awesome.
When the lady gets shot at the very beginning, I was like, oh, she gets sniped right in the face. All right, so is there any last... She's driving the car. Remember, she's driving the car with them in it. And she just You think she's a main character that she gets blasted in the face.
Which is why it's so good.
Yeah, anyways, okay. So is there any final things you would like to say so we can end this torment?
Here's the thing. I am actually possibly, depending on if my rewards points go through at the right time, I think I'll be getting Battlefield 1.
Okay.
Because I've been watching, like, the single-player campaign. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Either that or I'll skip that and end up getting Watch Dogs 2, but I just feel like that's too much open world.
Just get Resident Evil 7 like me.
That's not till next year, and that game...
Did
like
you
2
play
months
the
away?
demo? Yeah, I did play the demo.
It's so bad.
How do you not? Okay, that's a whole different conversation.
Did you enjoy PT?
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of like how Shoot 'Em Up wishes it was John Wick.
Oh my god, here we go.
Resident Evil 7 wishes it was PT.
Oh my god, here we go.
It's a fucking try-hard.
Okay, what's your final statement? Let's go. Let's get this over with.
So regardless, there should be at least one other game I'll be bringing up. Like, we're both going to end up playing Call of Duty, but I'm aiming to see if my rewards points go through, I can get another game to add to the list of things we can talk about.
Yeah.
Mafia 3 is awesome. Even if you just buy it for the story and try to, like, blast through the, like, you know, missions.
Yeah, because you can put it in, like, real easy and make it, like...
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game. It's awesome. Don't let, you know, the glitches and the repetitive nature stop you.
Just watch the rain. It'll blow your mind.
It probably will. Like, especially, there's times where, like, the sun literally bleaches the entire screen. Have you seen that yet?
It, like, freaks out the whole... Like, sometimes when it goes dark, it's almost, like, unnecessarily dark. You can't see shit. And, like, in my apartment, we keep it kind of doomsday in there anyways. And I'm still, like, squinting at the screen, like, where is my character?
What the fuck? And then, like, next thing you know, you're in water, and you're like, that is the...
And don't depend on thinking you're going to keep your car through the whole game, because it will be taken away from you.
That's true. There's literally a mission where it happens, and you have to destroy that. You don't have to destroy it, but you have to blow out the tires to stop it.
Yeah, I played that mission.
Where you have to chase
that guy down, and then I didn't know you shot his tires at first. I've been out. I was sitting there. Okay, there's something called the pit maneuver that you kind of learn. It's a police thing where you like go by the side of the back of their car and then hit them or like kind of bump them, and they should spin out. But that doesn't work in video games and really doesn't in real life. But I tried to do that the whole time, just kept on wrecking, failing. And I finally was like, can I shoot it myself? And I found out I can.
And it has a whole targeting system where it,
and it makes it like so
auto
easy.
lock onto things.
Sometimes when I play games, I feel like I make them more difficult on myself than need to be.
Here's the thing. He was playing the Modern Warfare remaster. Okay. And it's the very first tutorial thing. I'm sorry, I have to say this because
you should be able to do these things.
Hold on.
Okay.
He's trying to talk, and I'm watching him play this, and the objective in big letters on the screen says, "Shoot your targets from the hip."
And I'm trying to shoot it down using iron sights.
Yeah, he's scoped in, shooting the same 3 targets over and over. So, not to interrupt the podcast, I just like pointed at the screen at the words that I like. He's sitting there talking. I'm trying so hard not to laugh because I don't want to piss him off. But it's like, shoot from the hip.
Yeah,
and he's like, and I was like, we're going to be here all day.
I can't even get past this. You know, because like, I think my brain can do more. Okay, final thoughts.
Yeah,
so,
your turn.
My final thoughts is Capcom, you fucked up Dead Rising 2. You absolutely fucked it up. The upgrade on the PS4. And my main reason why is because you can't play it when you're attached online. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up. I don't want to go through it all today. I'll go through it next time. Or I might do a separate video where I can try to show you. It's completely horseshit.
Don't buy it.
Yeah, do not buy it. Don't buy it.
Period.
I've played some of the worst games in the world. Like the Fester's Quest that you hear about, or the Turtles on Nintendo, or Vampire Rain, or that vampire game. There's a vampire game that's glitchy as hell. I can't remember what it's called. And this is the first time I felt ripped off by buying a game. Ever. So, yeah. Don't buy Dead Rising 2 for Capcom. I'm going to try to record something so you can see what I'm talking about. But it might be a little difficult because they're bullshit. You can't go online. then I can't record what's happening.
Go live on Facebook with your phone, disconnect from the internet, record
and just do it that way. So it's going to be like a cheap version of that. So, but other than that, that's pretty much it for us. This is an extended podcast, so good for you. Yay. But as always, if you guys have any questions or if you'd like a certain topic covered, just go into our Facebook page at the Ray Bros Nerd Show. And you can also listen to us on SoundCloud, of course. And all you have to do is search at the Ray Bros Nerd Show as well. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.